So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The idea behind this lecture series is twofold. We want you to develop this habit of practicing MCQs on a daily basis. And we also want you to revise your current affairs on a daily basis because current affairs form a very important portion of your prelims examination. 40 to 50% of the MCQs would be directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Therefore, if you're serious about prelims, well, this 4 to 5 MCQs covered on a daily basis or a habit of covering 4 to 5 MCQs from current affairs would really serve you well. Because these 4 to 5 MCQs covered on a daily basis would add up to more than 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone. Just before you're ready for your prelims examination, you would have practiced these many MCQs from current affairs. Therefore, make it a part of your daily routine, alright? Okay then, let's begin today's session starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding draft GHG emissions intensity, GEI target rules 2025. Greenhouse gas emissions intensity is the amount of GHGs that are emitted per unit of product output. As per these target rules, GEI target rules released by Environment Ministry, is measured, GEI is measured in tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. As per Paris climate commitments, India needs to reduce emissions intensity by 45% by 2030. Okay. Now, draft GEI emission intensity target rules, which are released by Environment Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay. Now, what these target rules do is that they give targets to different industries for reducing their GEI, which is greenhouse gas emissions intensity. Okay. So every industry or the eligible industries would be given targets that you have to keep your GEI below a certain level. Okay, below a certain level. Clear? Now, what is GEI? The thing is that greenhouse gas emission intensity. What is emission intensity? It is the amount of greenhouse gases emitted. Okay, greenhouse gases emitted per unit output of a particular industry. So let's suppose there is a steel industry. Okay, so amount of greenhouse gases emitted per 1 kg of steel produced by the steel industry. Similarly, there is cement. Greenhouse gases emitted per 1 kg of cement produced. 1 kg or 1 ton or 1 quintal, okay, per unit output. So this is how we measure greenhouse gas emissions intensity. So greenhouse gas emissions intensity is the amount of GHGs that are emitted per unit of product output. Absolutely correct. Now, as per these target rules, well, these greenhouse gases will be measured. This greenhouse gas emissions intensity basically means that greenhouse gases emitted per unit output, right? Now, greenhouse gases contain CO2, methane, and many other greenhouse gases are there which cause global warming. Now, all these greenhouse gases require one unit, okay? Because CO2 has different global warming potential, CH4 has different global warming potential. So you require one unit for measuring the entire quantum of greenhouse gases, right? So greenhouse gases emitted by these industries are measured in tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Okay, so let's suppose CO2 causes 2 global warming. Okay, 2 units of global warming. Let's suppose methane causes 1 unit of global warming. So 1 CO2 is equal to 2 methane when it comes to global warming potential. So let's suppose that this steel industry is emitting 1 CO2 and 1 methane. So we will say that it is emitting 3 CO2. Okay, 3 CO2 basically. Make sense? Clear? So basically you need to measure all greenhouse gases in terms of their global warming potential as CO2. Clear? Now, this is also correct. Now, in Paris Climate Agreement, India committed that it will reduce its emissions intensity by 45% from 2005 levels by 2030. So this is also correct. All three statements are correct. The answer is C. Clear? Question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding carbon trading credit trading scheme. As per this scheme, companies are issued carbon credits for cutting emissions intensity. Carbon credits are traded through the Indian Carbon Market Platform with oversight of Central Pollution Control Board. Draft GEI Rules 2025 allow for implementation of CCTS 2023 scheme. Okay, so under draft GEI rules, well, every industry will be given targets, right? For example, steel industry is given a target of 100 ton CO2 equivalent of greenhouse gas emission intensity. So it cannot emit more than 100 ton CO2 equivalent. Okay. Now let's suppose this steel industry actually emits 90. That means the government told it to emit below 100, but it emitted 90, 10 below the government's target. So this steel company will be rewarded for it. Okay. It will get 10 carbon credits. Now, what is the benefit of this 10 carbon credits? Let's suppose there is a cement industry and it was also given the target of 100 CO2 equivalent. Okay, but it was unable to achieve this target. It actually emitted 110. Okay, now the government will say either pay a penalty for this, and that penalty would be very high, or if you are emitting 10 extra ton CO2 equivalent, then buy these 10 carbon credits, then you would be allowed. So if you want to emit extra, you would have to buy carbon credits for it. Okay. So in a sense, steel industry is being rewarded for it. Okay. Steel industry is being rewarded for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Okay. Because steel industry can sell these carbon credits and earn extra money. And cement is being penalized. Yes. Make sense? So these draft GEI rules basically allow for implementation of carbon credit trading scheme, because government formulated carbon credit trading scheme, but you have to give these industries some targets so that carbon credits could be allocated to them. So draft GEI rules gives them those targets. Clear? Now, as per this scheme, companies are issued carbon credits for cutting emissions intensity. Absolutely correct. Now, carbon credits. Steel industry can sell these carbon credits to cement industry on Indian Carbon Market Platform. Okay. And this Indian Carbon Market Platform will be overseen by not CPCB, but Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Okay. Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So this is false. 1 and 3 are only correct. The answer is C. Question number 3. Which of the following are correct regarding sandy Cay Reef? It is part of Parcels Islands in the South China Sea. This is a disputed region with China, Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam laying claims over it. China, Taiwan, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam, Indonesia surround the South China Sea. Okay. Look, the thing is that South China Sea is a disputed region. It is basically an extension of Western Pacific Ocean, but it is surrounded by, well, China, Taiwan, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Okay, so these countries surround South China Sea. Now there are various island groups in this South China Sea that are disputed territories between different countries. Though China claims all these islands, but different island groups in this South China Sea are disputed between different countries. Okay, so there are 3 group of islands that are disputed territories within South China Sea: Spratleys Island, Parcels Island, and Scarborough Shoals. Okay, these are disputed territories. Clear? Now, this sandy Cay Reef is a coral reef that is part of Spratleys Island, not Parcels Island. Okay, so this part is correct. False. Okay. Now, this sandy Cay Reef is a disputed region with China, Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. This part is correct. Clear? So 2 and 3 are correct. The answer is B. Question number 4. Consider the following statements regarding the role of Deputy Speaker in Lok Sabha. As per Constitution, the post of Deputy Speaker goes to a member of opposition in Lok Sabha. The office traces its origins from Deputy President of Central Legislative Assembly during colonial rule. Deputy Speaker automatically becomes the chairman of a parliamentary committee if appointed. Okay. So the thing is, Article 93 of the Constitution clearly states that as soon as the new Lok Sabha gets elected, okay, they have to elect a speaker to be the presiding officer of Lok Sabha sessions and a deputy speaker. Okay. The reason for introducing or mentioning the office of deputy speaker in the constitution was that there can be times when the speaker is absent from the proceedings of Lok Sabha. Then at that time, who should preside over the sessions? Therefore, you need a backup option. Deputy speaker is there. Okay. So as per the constitution, the post of deputy speaker goes to a member of opposition in Lok Sabha. Now, this is problematic because the thing is, Article 93 says that members of Lok Sabha shall appoint amongst themselves a speaker and deputy speaker. Now, generally, it is not, nothing is mentioned in the constitution, but generally, speaker is from the ruling party and deputy speaker is by convention, by understanding between party people. Deputy speaker is generally from the opposition. Okay. But nowhere in the constitution it's mentioned that deputy speaker shall be from constitution. Okay. So it's not as per the constitution, as per convention maybe. Now, the office of deputy speaker traces its origins from deputy president of Central Legislative Assembly. Okay. In 1921, we had a Central Legislative Assembly in Delhi during the colonial rule. That had a speaker and a deputy speaker. Okay. That Central Legislative Assembly had a speaker and deputy speaker. Okay. But back then, the speaker was called the president of Central Legislative Assembly and deputy speaker was called deputy president. Okay. The first deputy president of Central Legislative Assembly was Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. Any which way, this statement is correct. Now, deputy speaker's office is very important. Now, parliament forms many parliamentary committees. If in a parliamentary committee, deputy speaker is a member, then he automatically becomes the chairman of that parliamentary committee. So this statement is also correct. 2 and 3 are correct. The answer is B. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. And by revision, I mean taking a look at, by just spending 5 to 10 minutes, taking a look at written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, you can look at those solutions from the notes provided by us, and these notes are shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. Okay? On that note, I'd be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.